Be forever young, exploding the myth of age and death. What I'd like to do today, if you like, is invite you to plant a seed with me, a seed within your own consciousness, to expand your view, your understanding, your possibility of your destiny, and how much fun it can be here to be on the planet in a body. I'd like to help you to release and go beyond and replace the myth that aging and death are inevitable. Or at least start that journey. I'd like to invite you to expand beyond what you've been told, what you've learned, what you think is possible. You know, in our society, especially when I was young, I heard all the time, there's only two things that are certain in this life. Yes, and that is death and taxes. Man, I heard that over and over again, particularly from my dad's friends. I'm not quite sure what point they were trying to make, but they were saying that in their world, what was certain was death and taxes. It was a bit of a joke. Anywho, as I went through my life and went through my journey, I discovered that neither of those two things is certain. Neither of them is for sure. That there's a lot more latitude, a lot more flexibility, a lot more possibility in both those areas of aging and also of living forever. I went to a talk once in Boston in my 20s, and it was a talk on physical immortality. At that point I was just interested. I was open to the possibility, the idea. And as the lecturer talked, at one point she stopped and looked the audience in the eyes, looked at every eye in the room, and she said, "You have already decided when you're going to die this lifetime." Now, she had been talking about people from the Bible and from various other writings and traditions who lived way beyond 100 years. In the Bible, 800, 900 years old and beyond. And of course, Jesus was eternal. So at that point, when she stopped and asked us to look inside, and she said, "Take a look. You have already decided on some level when you're going to die this lifetime." Well, I went into shock. I wasn't shocked at the idea so much because it was intellectually, theoretically conceivable that people might have made an unconscious decision around a certain age. What I was shocked about was that up popped the number 63. I could see it in midair right in front of me. I felt it inside, and I had the word 63 and the concept of that age. Well, what was particularly shocking, besides the fact that it showed up on its own in a sense, that it popped right up, was that that's when my father died. In fact, just a few years earlier. And I was totally unaware, totally unconscious, that I had made such a decision, or at least was entertaining the possibility that that's when I might die at the same age, 63. So I wanted to explore physical immortality, stretching the boundaries, the beliefs around aging and youthing and staying alive and ascension. I wanted to explore all that. So the lady, Alana, who was conducting the talk, invited those people who were interested to stay afterwards and go into another room where they had a hot tub waiting, take off all our clothes, and rebirth ourselves. Now, rebirthing is a way of using the breath, the power of transformation in breathing, to open one's consciousness, to release old programming and conditionings and limits like dying, like aging. And I volunteered because I wanted to find out more about what was inside me, what beliefs, what decisions I had made on some level, unawares to myself. And the rebirthing was very successful. It was very powerful. I'd had a taste of it in Hawaii, the kahuna that I lived with for a while in Hawaii, the Hawaiian shaman, the kahuna, use breath as a main part of their process of expanding to greater awareness. So I took to the rebirthing like duck to water, so to speak, and had a wonderful opening on all levels. And part of what changed for me in my life, besides love and abundance and other aspects, was a sense of fun, rejuvenation. I felt younger. I definitely had more energy. And it's like I reverted back to the resources and stamina that I had as a 15-year-old. So I noticed that. So later, when I was attracted to other more modern versions of the idea that we could live beyond the prescribed number of years that our society told us, I was very open to these other sources of information, these other stories. My openness to expanding the envelope around the possibilities of how long we can live has led me to many true accounts of people who have lived for hundreds of years. One of them was The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East by Baird Spalding. And in that book, The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, Western scientists met and studied and tested ascended masters who had lived for hundreds of years, and some of them for eternity. The other book that I recommend to people for expanding our awareness and the limits and the boundaries of what we might explore ourselves is Autobiography of a Yogi by Yogananda. And in that book, Yogananda meets various teachers and gurus and saints who are hundreds of years old, and also, like Babaji, eternal. So, reading these accounts, I decided that I wanted to explore this further on a personal level. I encountered Carolyn Meese, and Carolyn Meese has a wonderful phrase that's very helpful. She says, "Your biology is your biography. Your biology, your physical state, is your biography, your story about yourself, your beliefs." You can also say that the other way around, that your biography, your beliefs, your story about yourself and what's possible, your biography about yourself creates, determines your biology, your physical state, your physical possibilities. In other words, our conscious and unconscious thoughts determine the reality that we inhabit, the reality we create, the reality that is real for us throughout our life. So I decided to explore experientially, on a deep level, changing this script, changing this scenario, changing my story, changing my biography, so that I could change my biology, my physical possibilities. Along with this, that made me realize how this programming goes in, this conditioning, this limited belief system, is I remember in school, every time I went to the nurse's office for a cut or a bruise, I was in athletics, so I was always in the nurse's office. As I would wait for the nurse to see me, they had these huge charts on the wall. And they had one for guys, boys, and one for girls. And the boys' chart showed what happened to you at age 25, 35, 45, 55, 65. And they listed, especially 25, 35, they listed all the things that would start to go wrong with your body. That you'd need more rest, you'd have less energy. Certain other things your digestion would be harder, your metabolism would slow down, you'd gain weight, you'd have to work harder to stay fit. A heart, and then later at 35 and 45, what's what I want to say? Dangers of heart attack and other physical impediments. It's actually hard for me to say these things because they're not part of my vocabulary anymore. But I noticed this as a child. I would see that my society, you know, this official proclamation on the wall in the school was telling me that starting at 25, my whole biology was going to go downhill. Everything was going to start not working as well. And I remember even then saying, no way, not me. I'm not going along with that program. I didn't really have a clue how I was going to escape from that destiny, but I knew that I did not want to go along with that scenario. And along the way, I ran into various experiential techniques and approaches like breathing, rebirthing, and meditations, yoga, and one that in particular was very powerful for me was the 5 sacred Tibetan rites. The 5 sacred Tibetan rites. And these are an ancient system of secret fountain of youth techniques. And it's really the science of rejuvenation. And they're 5 very simple exercises you do a little bit every day. That's kind of the essence of yoga, the essence of a lot of martial arts, the essence of a lot of meditation. And by using these 5 sacred Tibetan rites, I have started to notice definitely that I am youthing in appearance and also in my abilities. You know, honest, open-minded scientists will now readily admit that their research shows that there is no biological and physiological reason for a person to age or to die. And these monks in the Himalayas who created the 5 sacred Tibetan rites lived to be hundreds of years old. That's what convinced the first British explorer to try out these techniques and to share them with the West. As I've played with this approach, plus other things that I do to encourage youthfulness, I've discovered I sleep less, I have greater energy reserves, I have more flexibility, more innocence, more openness, more adaptability. All the qualities that we enjoy about being young. Another way that you can expand your experience and your biology of staying younger and feeling younger is to connect with, experientially, on a deep level, connect with the vibration or energy of any example in your life that's youthful, that's young and alive, that's vibrant, that's vital. So it might be a child, an animal, it might be the wind, it might be a movie, a song, anything that makes you feel that carefree, open, flexible, energetic relationship to life. Take a moment to breathe it in, and you can use breath or whatever other tools you have to absorb that vibration, to connect with it so that you shift. Invite the vibration, the energy, the frequency of that experience or that example or that model to shift you in the moment into that feeling, the vibration, the energy, the frequency, the feeling of aliveness, openness, infinite possibility. This is the greatest way to just blend, to merge this expansion into everyday life. Look for it. Decide you're only going to pay attention to what's young, new, different, alive, fun, moving, adaptable, flexible. And along the way you can discover your own secrets to wellness and health and longevity. It might be yoga, meditation, tai chi, martial arts, qigong, gardening, running, hiking, swimming, praying, singing, any creativity, and find your own way to expand your possibility beyond those limitations that we inherited from our family, from our society. And God bless them all. But really, we didn't come here to stay inside those boundaries. We came here to expand the possibilities for yourself and for all humanity. Another helpful way to approach this is to use open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are prayers, requests, intentions. And they invite you to tap into God, intuition, spirit, your higher self, to find suggestions, guidance on how to proceed toward your goals, toward what you'd like your life to be like. So for example, in this case, I would often say to myself, if I knew in my knowing, and that sends us to our knowing, to heart, intuition, God, spirit, if I knew how to stay feeling young and vibrant, what would I do? If I knew how to expand my experience of youthfulness, where would my attention go in my life? If I knew how to allow myself to feel more vibrant and vital throughout the day, what would my life be like? It'd be great. It'd be more fun. It'd be easier. I'd have more time, energy, resources, stamina. If I knew how to stay young and vital throughout the day, throughout my life, how would I feel right now? I feel great. With this intention, with this prayer, this request, you can turn back your biological clock. You can extend the possibilities of the joy and fun of your life. You can get back that happy expectation of youth, where anything is possible, where you're up to anything and you're ready for everything and you can allow everything. You can practice how to never grow old. You can practice how to always stay young, how to improve your sleep, your vision, your memory, your outlook, your destiny, how to have more fun in every day. It's never too late to start living your life to the fullest, forever.